Welcome to this video, and here we are going to look at new terms in statistics. We want to look at what we mean by when we talk about interquartile range, semi-interquartile range, and sometimes the semi-interquartile range is called the quartile deviation. Now we have a set of data here with the class from 1 to 10 all the way to 41 to 50. We have their frequencies, and we have also worked out their cumulative frequencies. So all we need is to learn on how to calculate the quartile deviations or the semi-interquartile range. So how do we calculate the interquartile range? Now we know one thing, that you have Q3. If you take Q3, that is the upper quartile, minus Q1, that is the lower quartile, and you subtract the two, then whatever you get is what we call the interquartile range. Now, if you want half of that, then you're going to call it the semi-interquartile range, or sometimes some books call it quartile deviations. So if you want to find the quartile deviations, then you take Q3 minus Q1 and you divide that by 2. In this example, we are going to do the 2. Remember, here we don't need the mean, we only need the upper quartile. We only need the upper quartile and the lower quartiles. So to work out the upper quartile, Q3, then that's going to be equal to L plus, now the upper quartile is 3 over 4, multiplied by N minus C, multiplied or divided by F, and we multiply this by I. Okay, so we need to identify the upper quartile, or the upper quartile, Q3 class. Okay, so we said, let me grab my calculator here. For you to identify the class that you're going to use as Q3, then you take the total frequency, which is in this case is 50. 50 divided by 4, and you multiply that by 3 is 37.5. So I'm going to test the cumulative frequencies here to see which number. If I subtract 37.5, I'm not going to get a 0 or a negative value. So if I take 37.5 minus 50 is a negative value, minus 40 a negative value, but when I subtract it from with 32, I notice that it's going to be a positive value, and therefore I'm going to take the class just below it. So this class is the class for what we call Q3 class. Okay, so for us to do this, the lower class or the lower class limit for this class is 30.5 plus 3 over 4 multiplied by 50 is 37.5 minus C. C is the cumulative frequency above our Q3 class, which is 32. Divide that by the frequency of our class, which is 8, and we multiply that by the class interval. The class interval is the upper limit minus the lower limit, that is 41.5 minus 30.5, and I believe that you should get 10, exactly 10. Working out this, let me do that very fast. 37.5 minus 32 divided by 8 multiplied by 10, I get 6.5 plus 30.5, it's 37.5, 37.375. That becomes the value of Q3. Let me do the value for Q1. So Q1 will be equal to L plus 1 over 4 N minus C divided by F. We multiply that by the class interval. So again, our task will be, how do we find the Q1 class? So the Q1 class will be found as follows. We're going to take 50 divided by 4, that is 12.5. Now we're going to test the cumulative frequencies. Now, 12.5 minus 50, a negative number, minus 40, a negative number, minus 32, a negative number, minus 24, a negative number, minus 13. Again, you notice this is a negative number. Okay, that means we do not have the median class. The median class right here, or the Q1 class, is going to be any class above here whose cumulative frequency is going to be 0. Okay, so that means we are going to take the class here to be our class for Q1. Our class for Q1. Okay, so that means we are going to use if you subtract 1 minus 0.5 is 0.5, that's the lower limit, plus, now 1 over 4 multiplied by n, that is 50 multiplied by 1 over 4 is going to be 12.5 minus 0, because the cumulative frequency above here, you can assume is 0 because we don't see it. Divide by the frequency of our class is 12, and we multiply that by I, which is 10. So doing that very fast, that's going to be 12.5 divided by 12, and we multiply that by 10, we get plus 0.5, we get 10.916, and now 10.916, we're going to work out the interquartile range. Interquartile range is going to be Q3 minus Q1. That's going to be equal to 37.375 minus 10.916. So 37.375 minus 10.916, you get 26.4583. That becomes the interquartile range. If I want to get the quartile deviation or semi-interquartile range, then I'm going to do it as Q3 minus Q1 divided by 2. Therefore, it means if I divide this answer by 2, then I get 13.229. And that becomes the semi-interquartile range. So that's how we work it out. If you want to locate the Q1 class, you have learned on how to do that. If you want to locate the Q3 class, you know how to do it, and that's how we can work such problems. So in our next video, we are going to also work out what we call standard deviation of a given data. So please remember to subscribe, share, and also comment. Thank you.